Chapter 5, The Skin I'm In. When I get home, Mom is waiting at the door to take me downtown to buy new clothes. She says she's got a bonus at work, so some extra cash to throw around for once. I don't care how she got the money, just as long as I get to spend some of it. So here I am today looking fine. I got enough lip gloss on to shine a car and have a crease in my pants sharp enough to cut somebody. And Charlize Jones ain't had nothing to do with it. At school, everybody's staring at me, even John, during doing a double take. When I walk into class, all eyes is on me. Char's the only one that's got something negative to say. So your mama finally broke down and bought you some clothes. About time, she says as soon as I get into Mrs. Saunders' class. When I walk in Mrs. Saunders' room, she's already given out an assignment. We get to work on this assignment with someone else, she says. Charlotte's Miss Saunders know that me and her are gonna be partners. Char's figuring I'll do all the work, but Mrs. Saunders is hip to that game. She says she's picked our partners. She looks up with Desanda. She hooks up me up with Desanda. Char don't like that one bit. She picks her stuff and walks out of the room. Miss Saunders acts like Char's leaving. Don't bother her none. Desta is the short, fat girl sitting by the door. Everybody in schools knows she can't cook up a storm. Turkey, stuffed chicken, gravy, 3 cheese macaroni, pasta, fried steak, lasagna. She won all kinds of awards for cooking. She even won $500 from Pillsbury Bake Off contest. She called her recipe Desta Darling's Delicious Double Dutch Chocolate Chip Cakes. She never will spend the $500 prize money, though. It's scholarship money for college, and Desta can't hardly read what the award says, let alone try to get into college. I hear Miss Saunders gonna start tutoring Desta. Yeah, right, I'm thinking. Desta's gonna need a grade level, gonna read on grade level when pigs fly. Anyhow, Miss Saunders asked the class to pretend. We're teenagers living in the 17th century. We have to write a diary chronicling our experiences. John raised his hand and asked, why we got to do this assignment anyway? Don't make no sense to me, he says, frowning. Miss Saunders looks like she's thinking hard for a good reason herself. Her fingers go up to her lips. Her eyes check out the ceiling like she's going to find the answer up there. I want you to know what it feels like to live in somebody else's skin and to see the world through somebody else's eyes, she says. Miss Saunders takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, then tells us to do the same. When you were little, you loved to play pretend to the G.I. Joe or Barbie. This is the same thing, playing pretend, she says. G.I. Joe's a punk. Don't nobody want to be him, John yells, cracking up the whole class. You get to be anyone you like, Miss Saunders says, walking towards him. She tells us that this is an exercise that will show her how well we write and use our imaginations. So no more grumbling, she says. Get to work now. I look at Desta. She's sitting there showing off her big white teeth and licking her lips like they're candy. At first, I don't say nothing. I roll my pencil around on the desk. I wait for Desta to start things. But nothing happens. Desta doesn't say nothing for a whole 10 minutes. Then here comes Miss Saunders, like she's Big Ben the clock. I hope you and your partner are using your time wisely. You only have 20 minutes left. I rip out some loose leaf paper and start writing. Then there's this. Here's what we're going to do, I tell Desta. She doesn't say nothing. She is like smiling and picking at some crud caked in her eyes, so I get started without her. At first, I pretend I'm a girl living in a drafty castle that I hate because my parents don't get enough candles to light the place. Then I start thinking back then I would be a slave, maybe a slave girl in the bottom of a boat, chained to some boy with the prettiest eyes and some girl who keeps stealing my little scraps of food, skinny and stinking and starving and all the time next to a cute boy who I like so much it hurts to start to write. I start to write. Dear diary, I hate fish, but I could eat a whole right now. I haven't had nothing much to eat for 3 weeks. Or is it 5 weeks? Watery rice with maggots in it is all they give us here. Mama used to always say it was with I was the skinny one. She would cry if she saw me now, all ribs and knees, ankles, big as yams. Worse than no food and stink everywhere is having Kinjari see me now. Mama would say, I am a vain and foolish girl, here dying and wondering what some boy thinks about me. But I can't help it. In my village, Kajari's family would know my family and maybe arrange for us to be married, even at my age, 13. But no one would ask to marry me like this, sitting in my own filth, my head shaved clean to keep the lice away, skin dry and ashy like tree bark, ate away by the desert wind. Day in and day out, Kajari eyes me, staring like he sees the sun rising in my eyes. I want to ask him why he looks at me that way. Am I something beautiful he can't help but stare? I keep quiet. Beauty is where one finds it, my father used to say. Sometimes when I wake, I am so close to Kanjari I can smell his breath like mine. It is awful, but I don't care. It is good knowing he is near, knowing he was near, I mean. I was sick, bad for a long while. When I woke up, Kanjari was gone, dead. He had the mark, the pox. The girls chained to me said, sucking her fingers, her front teeth, like they were soup bones. The slavers tossed him over the side, she said. But this one, she steals my food. Can I trust her with the truth? I don't know. Aklima. I read the diary letter to Desta. She asks how I came up with the girl's name, Aklima. It's close to my name, spelled backwards, I told her. How come you didn't talk proper, like Aklima talks in her diary, she asked. Don't nobody talk like that for real, only people in the old movies and books. Then I tell her how before he died, my father read books where people spoke like that. Some of it stuck, I guess. Miss Saunders picks up the paper and starts reading some out loud. Don't read mine, I think, turning my head to the wall. Desta raises her hands and asks Miss Saunders to read ours. Miss Saunders says it's the best, most thoughtful piece she's heard so far. Desta, Malika, good job, she says. Desta smiles. She sits up straight and tall, shows off them giant teeth of hers. I should be pissed off at her, since she didn't do a damn thing to help me write my essay. But today, I've got my new clothes on, and I'm feeling mighty fine. I don't crack on Desta or nothing. I just get myself out of there. I don't even answer Shar when she calls for me to come her way. This is my day, and I'm not letting nobody spoil it for me. Nobody. Miss Saunders has got other ideas, though. She pulls me and Desta aside and says she wants us to keep doing the assignment. No one else, just us. Desta asks what we're going to get out of it. Extra credit is all humph. Desta pulls out right then, admits she didn't have nothing much to do with writing the assignment, that I did all the work. Miss Saunders turns around to me. Desta walks off. I don't know, maybe it's these new clothes and all, but I say, okay. I don't want to spoil my good mood by telling no teacher where to get off today. Besides, I liked writing that stuff. I didn't tell that to Miss Saunders, though. She could use it against me someday.